right, here we go. The final episode, episode 22 of our Hero Quest painting series. It's been a long journey, and I'm glad that everybody is here with me and has been watching it since the beginning. I can't thank you guys enough for your support. And as always, I want to thank the YouTube members first for their awesome charitable donations to the channel, because it does help out tremendously with all of the time spent with this and everything I got to do to edit and paint all this stuff. But thank you so much. If this is your first time at the channel, or if you're a returning member watching this series, hit that subscribe button. We have the Frozen Horror expansion coming up next. Without further ado, let's do this last episode. Let's go. As always, we are going to be scraping the mold lines and all the other stuff off the miniature. This is episode 22. This is the last episode of the base set, and we are going to kind of speed through this. We're not going to take some crazy amount of time. There's only one of these, and we got other stuff to paint, so we're not going to go crazy. The first thing we're going to be doing is going to be scraping everything off and then spray painting it, or using an airbrush with some black on it to get this portion done. Once you're done with that, you're going to take some white, you're going to spray it from above. Nothing too crazy. You just want to create some zenithal highlighting so we can use the contrast paints, because we're only using contrast paints on this miniature to speed this process up. Alright, we're just going to paint this thing. We're going to cruise on it, and then we're going to do the biggest portion first, and that's all the wood on this miniature. Now we're going to be using some Snakebite Leather. I know it's a leather, but this is kind of a rustic, like, stained, finished wood color that I like. And we're going to put this all over our desk, and we're going to take our time a little bit. This is the longest portion of this miniature. But just follow along, enjoy the paint, throw on some music, listen to a book, maybe put some Calm by Nature on. They are one of my favorite YouTube channels. No, I'm not sponsored by them. No one's sponsoring this channel. We don't have enough people watching. But this could all change one day if we get some people watching. Like 10,000, 20,000, maybe 30,000 people. Maybe we'll get some sponsors. Till then, we're just going to keep painting. So yeah. Next, we're going to take some Magos Purple, and we're just going to pick some of these jars out. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can use any colors you want. I just chose some random ones that I thought would look cool. And the first one's going to be that Magos Purple. The next one I'm going to use is Talassar Blue. And again, I'm just picking one and quickly painting it. Again, we don't want to take a crazy amount of time on this. It doesn't warrant that type of time. We're just trying to push through this miniature and make it look good on the table and not take up a ton of our time, because time is precious. Next, we're going to use some Aethermatic Blue on another one. And then finally, we're going to take a couple of those jars and we're going to use some black Templar. For a little desk mat, we're going to use some Basilicanum Grey. We're going to come back to that color here later in this episode. But what we're doing is just basically coloring down. If you get some on the wood, it's not a big problem. Just smudge it off with your finger. It almost adds to the rustic look of this desk anyway. For our papers, we're going to take some Skelton Horde, and we're just going to put those on the papers. Once those papers are dry, you can also take some Black Templar, Basilicanum Grey, or some black and scribble some lines on there, almost like someone's writing on them, but it's not legible that you can read. For our scale, we're going to use Nazdreg Yellow. Now, Nazdreg Yellow is a contrast paint that says yellow, but almost looks gold, and that's kind of what we're going for. Again, we're speeding through this. We're not going crazy in this. We're not taking all types of time and, you know, putting washes, base colors. It just, in my opinion, does not warrant the amount of time it takes to paint it. For that extra, we're not going to edit that out. We're just going to keep it. For the extra portion, there we go. On the mat, we're going to use some Leviadon Blue and paint that on there very nicely. And for the top portion of that pot, we're going to use Iyanden Yellow. And then we're going to move over to that feather. And we're going to use some Flesh Tearers Red, followed by a little bit of black on the quill portion, but we're going to do that here in a second. For our amulet, we're going to use some Warp Lightning in the center. And then we're going to use some Basilicanum Grey on that quill, and along with our awesome handles on our drawers as well. You can also put these on the knobs on the front too. And finally, we're going to use some of that Nazdreg Yellow again on the amulet. Make it look at that gold yellowish color. Again, did not take very much time. We rushed through this, and it's the last piece. We're just trying to get it. But hey, you did a fantastic job as you can see here. It looks just fine on the table. Could you spend an inordinate amount of time on this? 100% you could. You could spend so much time that this would be the best miniature you've ever painted. But is it really worth it? In my opinion, no. But I just wanted to say a thank you so very much. This concludes our Hero Quest painting series for the base set. It has been a long journey. It took me a lot longer than I wanted it to take, but we are done. And I hope you guys had as much fun as I did painting these miniatures and sharing them with your friends, family, and maybe some cohorts or the people in your gaming group. I love doing this, and I want to continue this for many years, and I want to say thank you to everybody who watches this series and supports it. So we'll be back again for the Frozen Horror series. Till next time, paint on.